As you learn about the narcissistic pattern, it's also wise to reflect on the much healthier alternatives. Now, below you're going to find a link to my new extensive course called Ready, Set, Connect. It addresses both the mindset and the skills involved in gratifying relationships, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. Many moons ago, when I was in my graduate school days, I became exposed to a large number of tests. When we're talking about tests, I mean temperament analysis tests or personality measurements, IQ tests, strength finder type tests. And one of the things that these different tests and measurements will show is that everybody's different. Each one of us has a very different set of ingredients on the inside of who we are, and it's up to each one of us to know who we are and what our distinctives are and eliminate as many of the troublesome parts of who we are and build upon the strengths parts. And then let's add to it. Every person also has strong cultural influences. Your family of origin can influence who you are and how you think and how you process life. You've had many, many life experiences starting from very early on and leading all the way up till yesterday. You have a natural bent in many different kinds of skills. For example, some people are very skilled at the arts, and some people are good at math and science, and some people have sports proficiency. Some people have really solid mechanical skills. You have different religious influences. You have race and ethnic influences. All of that says that each person arrives at whatever station in life they are with differences. We all have our own uniqueness and our own distinctives, and let's learn to celebrate that. Now, along comes the narcissist. And the narcissist can see you and many other people with all the differences that you bring, and they'll think, well, actually, I have good news for you. And that is, if you'll learn to filter all of your thinking and your priorities and your interpretations through me, then you are going to have a good life. Because you see, I and I alone can be trusted to tell you how your life is supposed to be. Have you ever run across anybody that thinks that way towards you? And it's maddening when they come towards you like that. I mean, it's beyond logic. It's delusional in the way that they think. There's an absurdity there. There's an out of touch with reality mindset there. And yet you can have plenty of individuals who will say, well, your way of thinking, your distinctions simply aren't right. I and I alone get to decide that. And I've spoken with so many people who, it's just basically, it's like when I try to talk with these people about how it's okay for me to be different or think or process differently, I feel like I'm just banging my head against a brick wall. And my reaction to that is, you probably have better results doing that, banging your head against the brick wall, as opposed to trying to break into that person that says, I and I alone have all the answers for you and your life. Now, there are major factors that go into the making of this kind of delusional thinking. First, we're just going to simply say that a person who has that I and I alone thinking has an enormous attitude of entitlement. They have a very strongly inflated view of who they are. And then what that also means is that as long as they feel entitled about themselves, they'll then turn around and have harsh invalidations regarding you. Because you see, you're not me. And so just by virtue of the fact that you're your own separate person, then you need to be taken down several notches, and you're going to be given plenty of criticism. You're just a chump. Likewise, these individuals who think in such a fashion have a very strong inclination toward what we might call a rewards approach toward life. If you do the right things, you get a reward. If you do the wrong things, you get punished. And guess who's going to be the one that doles that out? It's going to be me, the narcissist. Likewise, narcissists who have this I and I alone kind of mentality have and when I say a very low capacity to engage with other individuals at the heart level. With these individuals, relationships are transactions. That's it. They don't really care to know about who you are. And this leads to another indicator, and that is they're not interested in showing compassion. Now, they may have some lust here and there, but that's a whole different story. But they're interested in power. And regard is something that's not in their equation. They're incredibly closed-minded. They're not going to be a team player. If you're not on my team, then you're a nobody. And these individuals are driven by multiple psychological wounds that created the thought, I don't trust anyone. And if I'm going to make my way through life, it's going to be based on my counsel to myself, end of discussion, period. I don't need anybody else's input. People are going to screw me over, so I'll just be in total charge. Now, the net result, when you are engaging with individuals who have this I and I alone can tell you how life is supposed to be, the net result is these are individuals who can be very easily enraged. And when I say easily enraged, we're talking about a quick trigger. They have this, how dare you think differently from me? You ever come across somebody that thinks that way? They have a strong inclination to punish. And often when they come at you with a punishing mindset, it can be very harsh and mean-spirited. These are individuals who show repeatedly, time and time again, that you simply can't reason with them. There's almost a complete refusal on their part to listen to who you are. And as a result, you just feel like you're constantly outside trying to get inside their front door, and they're not going to let you in. These individuals are very willing to smear you to other people once they figure out that you're not going to go along with their entitled and self-impressed kind of thinking. They're also obsessed with their own public image. It's like they're living, they think they're living according to their own principles, but they're living for adoration and admiration. They want the power seat because that means that if other individuals think of themselves as being a real somebody, then that reinforces that strong need that they have to cover up for their feelings of inadequacy. These people will very willingly take takes people's attentions away from their own flaws and weaknesses. No, we don't talk about that kind of stuff. And as a result, they'll flip it back on someone else. So even if you do catch them in some sort of improper act or with some sort of gross error, you know what they're going to say. Well, it wasn't me because I and I alone know how to do life. So if there's something wrong in my life, you must have done it to me. You sabotaged me. And as a result, they're very inclined towards very strong defense mechanisms. Chief among them would be projection. They see in you all the many issues they can't come to terms with inside themselves. But along with that, they'll rationalize, they'll justify, they deflect, they stonewall. There are many different ways of showing their defenses. There's lots of condescension in the way that they engage with you, mocking and criticizing, and their own just natural haughtiness that they have. And then they have a very strong inclination to create in and out kinds of groups. They other people very willingly. And as a result, they tend to have lots of bigoted or kind of attitudes, and they just can't deal with anybody who's not exactly inside the mold that they say it's supposed to be. I and I alone hold the keys to life. Basically, when a narcissist is saying that, they're saying, submit to me. Acknowledge my superiority, conform, ignore who you are. And then, if you don't, I'm going to make your life miserable. And my reaction to that kind of thinking is, wow. Just wow. Do you really believe in this crock of stuff that you're trying to peddle? Do you really believe that? And the answer is, yeah, they actually believe that at some level. Do you honestly think that people will lay down their own unique qualities in fealty toward you? And a narcissist thinks, that's my goal. That's what I'm hoping for. Wow. You see, there's one word that narcissists just absolutely hate, and it's the word compromise, or blend, or harmonize, or they don't like words like acceptance, or equality, or contemplation. Imagine that. Think things through here a little bit more deeply. They don't like words like patience, or certainly they don't like the idea of their own personal self-restraint. These are individuals who are profoundly out of touch with reality when it comes to the standards and principles that make relationships healthy. So when you are in the presence of that person that says, I and I alone can tell you how to live your life, don't bother defending yourself. Why defend yourself when the other person's simply going to be listening for reasons to cut you down? Do determine, despite their protests, that you're just going to go ahead and be your own unique person anyway. I live with the attitude that says, I'm not very good trying to become somebody that I'm not. And then I'm hoping you can be somebody that says, well, I want to see into the benefits that come from hearing from other individuals. It doesn't mean I don't have my principles and standards, but I acknowledge that you have yours too, and I want to create an atmosphere that says, let's operate with mutual respect and mutual regard. So when that narcissist persists with that attitude that says, well, I and I alone need to figure out how life is, my response is going to be, okay, I'm going to leave you alone, and you can have your delusional thinking. I'm going to go ahead and be me, and I celebrate those who bring to me different ideas and thoughts that perhaps I haven't thought about before. Be alone. Be who you are. I'm going to be somebody that emphasizes blending and harmonizing. Now, I hope that videos such as this can give you some good awareness of perhaps what you're dealing with. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to keep more videos coming your direction. I hope on a cumulative basis it can assist you in your growth. If you have a need for therapy, and many times when you're dealing with people like this in your own personal life, it's like, I need some help. Well, we have a sponsor that's been sponsoring me for many years now, the folks at BetterHelp.com. There's a whole team of licensed professional therapists. It's affordable, it's accessible, and it's something that brings great benefit to people. Please seek the help that you have. We have a link that you need. We have a link below that will take you to their website, and you get a 10% discount for the first month. Likewise, I have my courses. And these are very extensive. Each course has at least 25 videos, guided questions, written material, and it's going to hopefully bring a whole lot of contemplation to you. We have Ready, Set, Connect about how to make good connections. We have This Is Me about establishing yourself with those intrusive people. We have Free to Be, finding yourself despite the controllers. Likewise, we have my webinars, which are presented in a very different kind of format. It's all on my website. In addition, we have plenty of articles, and we have my podcast, and then my books, so lots of resources. When you think about the great sense of diversity that each one of us lives in, and then that person comes along and says, well, I and I alone have the keys to life, that's an enormous red flag. And I hope that you can say, I'm sorry that you're there. I'm going to leave you alone in your own delusions. I'm committed to a healthy way of life, and I want to be a steady person. I want to be an open person. I want to have my convictions, but ultimately I want to be somebody that knows how to engage well with other individuals, because I'd like to be somebody that's capable of finding my own sense of inner peace.